It's not bragging if you do what you say you're gonna do. So, and you know, like when people say, when you know, bumps and bruises come with the sport of boxing.
I'm telling you, this version of Tank is gonna be dangerous, bruh. If you know about boxing, come on, it is GervontaDavis, bruh.
Floyd Mayweather is said to be surprised by GervontaDavis's intense training ahead of his rematch, with Lamont Roach. Davis looked fierce in camp, throwing quick, powerful punches with sharp movement. His focus and strength have impressed even his longtime fans, showing he's serious about winning big in the rematch. While Davis is training hard, Lamont Roach is also giving his best at camp. Both fighters are pushing themselves to improve their skills and gain power. Their commitment sets the stage for an exciting and highly competitive fight in the ring.
Lamont Roach in training camp, ready for one of the biggest rematches in 2025 against Gervonta Tank Davis, one of the biggest faces of boxing. What a rematch.
Many believe Tank Davis's weak performance in his first fight with Lamont Roach had more to do with his own personal issues than Roach's skill. Tank admitted he was struggling both mentally and physically at the time, saying he thought about getting therapy and even leaving boxing altogether. Despite all that, he still stepped into the ring with Roach. Now the rematch gives Tank a fresh chance to show what he's really capable of and prove that his last fight didn't reflect his full potential when he's at his best.
He wants to do therapy. He wants to do real estate. They want to say he wasn't all in because him and Roach are friends, and he's going to be focused for the second fight. A lot of excuses. They want to say it's because of the braids, you know, the oil getting in his eye. Whatever. This is what really happened. And I just now came to this conclusion because I've been making some other videos for Patreon, but Lamont Roach posted a video recently on
The first fight clearly showed some flaws in Tank Davis's game, as Lamont Roach found and used gaps in his defense and endurance. The rematch is crucial because it will reveal whether that first fight was just a bad night for Tank or a sign that his power and skill have started to fade. Tank now faces serious pressure to prove himself and quiet those who doubt his strength and preparation.
I don't know if Lamont Roach exposed weaknesses of Tank Davis. It very much reminds me of Rolly Romero versus Ryan Garcia. What Roach did, Rolly was doing the same thing. He ended up implementing it better against Ryan Garcia. Tank was having huge issues, and that's the Black Two Sugars. Watch me call that fight. I started laughing. I couldn't believe it because all he was patient with good power. All Roach was patient. He stayed focused. That's why him drinking and partying and shit is messing with me, because he beat him here. He stayed so damn focused, and he knew when Tank was going to punch. He knew when not to punch, and when he countered Tank, he rocked Tank. Tank got rocked at least twice that fight.
Floyd Mayweather had doubts about the true strength of Tank Davis's power, but recent training clips showing Tank's intense workouts and powerful combinations have clearly caught Floyd's attention. The videos show a more focused and dangerous fighter than many had expected, making Mayweather rethink his doubts and recognize Tank's growing skills and strong preparation for top-level performance.
When is GervontaDavis going to go somewhere in the power for power? Do he deserve to be in the power for power? Absolutely. Do Terrence Crawford deserve to be in the power for power? Absolutely. But what about Gervonta Tank Davis? I mean, he deserved to be somewhere also in the power for power.
Why don't they give him that credit?
Because he was affiliated with me.
The relationship between Floyd Mayweather and Tank Davis has been tense for years, with ongoing disagreements about career decisions and training approaches. Floyd had doubts about Tank accepting the rematch with Roach, thinking it was a risky choice. But after seeing Tank's intense training, Floyd seems surprised by his focus and drive. Davis understands how important this fight is for his reputation. A loss now would leave no excuses, making this his most critical fight yet.
When Floyd left Bob Arum, it's good for them to do it and become their own boss. And then if another guy does it, it's not good for the sport. He's disloyal. And what's wrong with Tank saying he want to be his own boss? And honestly, I've been there. The relationship between them two is very toxic. It's a toxic relationship. It's up and down and up and down. And I'm not gonna elaborate to everything that I know, but it's a very toxic relationship. And that's why when I tweet stuff, I don't tweet often, but when I tweet, I may fire off 50 tweets in the day. And that's why when I tweeted certain things about the relationship, Tank retweeted it because he knows. Like, I'm not just gonna say what it is. It's a very toxic relationship. It's back and forth, and I think it will serve him best to go and be his own boss.
Many experts say the excitement over Roach's performance in the first fight is a bit exaggerated. Tank Davis's knee gave out because his vision was blurred by grease in his eyes, not because Roach landed a knockout punch. This detail shows the fight wasn't as clear-cut a win for Roach as some make it seem. Now Tank is getting ready to come back stronger and fiercer, sending a warning to boxing fans that this new version of him is a serious threat who shouldn't be taken lightly in the ring.
People keep saying like Lamont dang near like beat Tank like clean. Like basically like we seen it like, yeah, he did Tank that one, but like Tank was limping out the ring. Bro, he didn't even get over on Tank for real. Y'all only saying that because Tank took the knee. And when Tank took the knee, it wasn't how like Ryan Garcia was when he took the knee once Tank went to his body. It was like, dang, like I'm taking him to get right back up. Can you do that in boxing? No. But y'all can't say that basically that, oh yeah, he won because of the knee. That shows that people just want to see Tank lose, bro. Cause y'all betting y'all money on basically Tank losing because of that knee. Yes, it was a good fight. Yes, I'm not gonna lie. Lamont was defending himself like he's skilled. But, bro, he ain't walk all over Tank. Tank, bro, if y'all go back and watch the highlights, I just watched the highlights last night. Them last couple of rounds, bro, Lamont was balled up. Tank was literally, he was trying, like you could tell Tank was like, dang, I waited too long. So he was trying to throw some stuff like to make sure he get that one blow, but it didn't work. So that's why they doing that rematch so they could start over from scratch, round 1 to round 12. We gonna start over clean and let's see what's going on now. Now y'all want to be saying, oh no, man, I ain't gonna lie. At the end of the day, the first fight is what matters. No, it don't. Tank was, look, he real enough to say, hey, bro, let's do a rematch. Now, if he ain't do a rematch, it's like, oh, yeah, something going on. Nah, hush, hush. Hey, Calvin, step to the side. Let me get somebody else right now. I'm going to be hush. Let me get back in the gym and put my hat on. And we go at it again. I'm not going to lie. I'm telling you, this version of Tank is going to be dangerous, bro. If you know about boxing, come on, it is GervontaDavis, bro. Dude is a beast. You think he finna walk around with that on his resume that he almost got cooked by Lamont Roach? Bruh, if he doing a rematch, he doing it for a reason. He's about to make an example out of him. I'm sorry to tell y'all. And Lamont, you're skilled. But the fact that you keep on trying to just pull that up, like that one knee. I beat him because of that one knee. You know, I don't care if he had grease in his eye or not. I whooped him because of that. Bruh, that's how you know he don't got confidence that he's a better fighter than Tank. The fact that he's trying to, because he know that chance comes once in a lifetime. That's why he's so big on trying to, go back and play the tape.
Surprisingly, even critics and those who don't usually back Tank Davis expect him to win the rematch easily. The general view is that Tank is completely focused and driven because this fight matters a lot for his legacy. Unlike before, he's not distracted by other opponents or matches. He's fully locked in on Roach. Many think this strong focus will help Tank take back control and get his career back on the right path.
Breaking news from Mike Coppinger, Tank vs. Roach rematch has been booked for August 16th, I want to say. This fight's going to take place in Las Vegas, so no, Tank will not be fighting Jake Paul. He will not be looking at any further opponents. He's going to be fighting Lamont Roach once more. What does this mean for Tank? What does this mean for Roach? Not much. I mean, it's a rematch. Tank lost the first fight. He got to get it back, I guess. What are my predictions for this fight? I'm going to go domination by GervontaDavis. I'm not a big Tank fan, but I don't like Roach whatsoever as a boxer. It's going to take a little bit more from Roach for me to just think that he's on the level of Tank. Like I always say, we have 25 plus fights with Lamont Roach. He's never looked like a great fighter. I don't think this fight alone makes him a great fighter. I don't think he's going to carry this momentum on into the rematch. I'm going to go GervontaDavis, brutal, typical knockout fashion. I'm expecting Roach to vacate his 130 title, stop holding up that division. I'm expecting him to make a legit campaign at 135 after being knocked out. But you guys let me know, who do y'all got in the rematch? Did you even want to see this rematch? You guys let me know.
After disputed referee calls in the first fight, fans and experts want the rematch to be handled by a neutral official. The previous referee, Steve Willis, was accused of favoring Davis, Raising questions about the fairness of the result, Roach's team has clearly asked that Willis not referee the rematch. Everyone hopes for fair and unbiased judging, so the fight's outcome is decided purely by the fighter's skill, putting an end to any ongoing debate.
You know, obviously the part with the grease in the eye, that took on a life of its own, you know what I'm saying? That was a headline in the fight. One is, what did you think when he said that initially, just like the grease in the eye? But two is like, when you was in the fight, was there any point that you saw that? Like, did you see like him kind of messing with his eye, or did you have any indication that that was something that was bothering him?
No, see, and that's the thing. If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him. Even that right hand that, like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of landed, he kind of rolled with it. But after that, you can see him wipe his eye. And then, right after I hit him with the jab, you can see him wipe his other eye. So it's like, it was corresponding to which hand that I punched him with and exactly which eye. So it's like crazy for him to say, it's grease in my eye. And I think even when he say that, you could see me, because I'm right beside him, you can see me like, nigga, what you talking about? So,
right. But you say you don't think he willing though.
Whatever. See, but who cares? Like, sweat gonna get in your eye, blood gonna get in your eye.
Yeah, don't matter.
Spit fucking around and get in your eye. You know what I'm saying? But you, it's not like you can be like, all right, time out, ref. Hold on,
Take
ref.
no time out.
You can't do that.
Right. Would you be cool with Steve Willis doing the next fight?
Hell no.
He can't do the next fight.
No, he can't do the next fight.
Right.
No.
Pops is a no?
Hell no.
Yeah, fuck that nigga.
Yeah.
You know how many
put Coach Ben on him, man. He lucky he ain't running Coach Ben after that fight.
But look how many times he fucked the fight up though. Right. The knee, him going to the corner to get assistance, like, who knows? Not saying that they did any cheating shit or nothing like that. But like, he wiped his face with a towel. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do none of that.
Right.
That's a disqualification. You turned your back on the ref after you took a knee. Usually the ref will be like, all right, he don't want to fight no more. Fight's off.
After the first fight, Davis gave some surprising reasons for his poor performance. One excuse was blaming his hairdresser for grease getting into his eyes, which many fans thought was strange. This seemed like a way to minimize Roach's effort and avoid giving him the credit he deserved. These explanations made fans doubt whether Tank was truly focused and ready as he prepared for the rematch.
We gotta talk about it. So Tank officially came out and says that he wants to put this rematch as early as May. Now, if that were to happen, Lamont Roach gets a second time to prove himself. Now, in my personal opinion, his stock has already risen. He is already notable. The fact that he went toe-to-toe with Tank on a decision that ended in a draw, whether he loses this second fight or not won't even matter. Because he's directly in line to go against the Keyshawn Davis, the Shakur Stevensons, and etc., the Devin Haney's, and etc. I can see him moving up and going against Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia or somebody like that. So many people to fight. Lamont Roach has definitely proven himself. But let's talk about something else. And that is the hairstylist situation. In my humble opinion, I believe she should have been quiet. As a hairstylist, there was nothing for you to say. No fan in boxing was gonna look at that like, I don't want her braid my hair. No one would have said that. But she hurt herself when she came out and publicly made multiple claims, got all these receipts that no one needed, no one asked for, saying, oh, this it had no grease or oil in it. No one cares. Nobody even believes it. Sometimes it's best to remain quiet. But you guys let me know in the comments, should she have remained quiet, or should she have did what she did, which is spoke up? You let me know.
Recent training videos show GervontaDavis working hard in the gym with impressive accuracy and smooth movement. The first fight highlighted Tank Davis's reputation for picking opponents who fit his style and strengths, a strategy often criticized in boxing circles for years. Davis faced claims that he avoided tougher challengers. Lamont Roach broke that pattern by coming in ready, focused, and smart. His approach revealed Tank's weaknesses and proved that his usual tactics might not work against someone who won't back down or be outmatched.
That fight with Tank and Lamont Roach shows y'all how protected Tank has been for the past several years. And the people saying, oh, Tank know Lamont and he been respected Lamont because they fought in the amateurs. Man, he was cherry picking Lamont, you know, and really thought he was gonna get that win. But Lamont wasn't coming to play around. You know, he stood his ground and fought back. And to be honest, he won the fight. The rematch is gonna be a knockout.
Some well-known boxing figures, like Gary Russell Jr., don't agree that Roach clearly won the first fight. Russell says Roach kept up with Tank, but didn't beat him clearly enough to claim a full win. He believes that to beat a champion like Davis, an opponent has to show clear control throughout the fight, which Roach didn't quite do.
He's 100% correct. Personally, I had GervontaDavis up a round, because whenever you have rounds where nobody's doing anything, I'm not just going to do what most people do, and especially people that don't like GervontaDavis, which is just give the round to the other guy because GervontaDavis didn't manage to knock him out that round. Okay, so this is Gary Russell Jr. clearly saying, man, no, I don't think Lamont Roach won that fight. You also had Al Bernstein, and Al Bernstein, I'm telling you, is a very, very straight, fair guy who I don't know if he was on that call, but he used to work with Showtime. I don't know if he was on there. I don't recall if I heard him. I think it was Rolly Ronaldo that was calling it. But Al Bernstein, who was a very, very objective person, said, hey, look, no, sorry to break it to you, but GervontaDavis won that fight. Yeah, Lamont Roach put up a really good fight, but Lamont Roach was not dynamic. He did not do anything to really separate himself from GervontaDavis. He just kept it equal. He just tried to keep it even the entire fight. And that's not enough, again, to take the belt from the champion. Now, I do want to say that the people that thought that Lamont Roach won, I don't have any problem with that. I really don't have a problem with it at all. I personally, again, had a point for GervontaDavis, but I could see how those swing rounds really could go, you know, depending on who's looking at it, really could go different ways, right? But I had him winning. Larry Hazard, who was the ref, who was calling it on the air, the Showtime scores, the Amazon Prime scores, had GervontaDavis winning, I think, 115, 113.
Jeff Mayweather, a longtime supporter and trainer of GervontaDavis, shared his honest thoughts on the first fight. He pointed out that Lamont Roach was more active, landing and throwing more punches than Tank. Jeff was surprised by Tank's struggles, saying he didn't perform at his usual level. From Jeff's view, Roach's effort was strong enough to deserve the win, which made the debate over the fight's result even more complicated.
I think that's the worst decision I think I might have ever seen. I don't know how that's not a knockdown. But anyway, thoughts on the overall fight first, Jeff?
I think that it was a good fight on both sides, and I do think that Roach actually won the fight. I thought he outworked Tank. I thought that he threw more punches than Tank. It seemed like Tank was fighting like he always do. It just seemed like he was just waiting for him to figure out whoever was in front of him like he always do, and then go to work. But this time when he went to work, the guy went to work back. So, I mean, he had somebody that was firing back at him. It's the same way.
Yeah. I think the commentators and most of us at home thought, kind of the same thing. You thought Roach would bank some of those early rounds to prepare for the onslaught later. And when it didn't really happen, it was pretty even. We said, well, this is going to be a one-sided fight. But yeah, it never happened. And Roach, through the latter half of the fight, actually seemed to do better than the first half.
I thought he did good pretty much all the way through the fight. I mean, there was a few rounds where he didn't do that well, but I mean, I thought he won the fight clearly. I mean, I didn't see Gervonta really the Gervonta that I know. I mean, I'm a big Gervonta fan, but I didn't see none of the Gervonta that I'm used to seeing.
Why do you think that is? Roach was pretty lightly valued coming into the fight, moving up a weight class. It's not somebody that they expected to give him a huge challenge. What do you think it was that Roach presented to Tank that made it so difficult for him?
The one thing is that he fought at the right distance, and he let his hands go. And that's the most important part. Is that's how you win a fight, by letting your hands go. I mean, Gervonta was sitting back, waiting like he normally does, and then all of a sudden he finishes something.
Popular boxing commentator Sauce Walker has been clear about the first fight, believing Roach outboxed Davis. According to Sauce, Roach's smart strategy and perfect execution gave him the advantage, showing control and skill that Tank couldn't match. Sauce argues that anyone who knows boxing well can see that Davis was outperformed, no matter what the judges said. Now, the rematch will settle all these questions once and for all, whether it was a referee's error, Roach truly overpowering Tank, or simply being the better fighter. The ring will provide the real answer.
Do you think that they should have counted that point against him? Do you think Lamont Roach won, or do you think it wasn't enough?
It could be considered a rightful draw, but I also lean towards that Lamont Roach won that fight. I believe he won the fight simply because he outclassed the champ. In boxing, you have to do two things to beat the champ. You either got to knock out the champ or completely outclass the champ. But you have to beat the champ. You're not going to just get the win because you survived or you put up a good fight. Bro lost that fight.
Facts.
Like when you really, really know boxing and know boxing for what it really, really is, Tank lost that fight. No matter how much people, emotions and feelings are attached to it, because Tank is a hero of the hood. The ghetto loved the Tank. GervontaDavis has been crowned king. My personal opinion, I don't think he should take the rematch, and I think he's already done what you just said. I think off of what he's already accomplished with the draw, he's already in a life-changing situation to where he could change every person around his life forever. He's now what's called a prize fighter, guaranteed. He's now what's also called a A-side fighter right now. But if he does what I like to call the Deontay Wilder and chase the legacy of getting the win, because you thinking from more of 100% on the boxing aspect than the business aspect, which GervontaDavis has clearly showed everybody, the larger amount of his success is from the business module of the way he does boxing that was being gifted to him through Mayweather and Mayweather Promotions and PBC. But at the end of the day, so and what? That's what he's supposed to do. I'm not mad at GervontaDavis for that.
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.